So I have been working on affirmations and acronyms, and there's some that people will never understand, not fully. Uh, they actually damage the whole point of them, which makes it harder for those who really want to learn compared to those who just screw around and misuse the point of learning, which is also very common in my family. Which is another thing I do not value at all. I don't value stuff like that. I do value learning, but I don't value people who don't find learning of value, no matter what age you get. And yes, I don't look my age. And that's because I don't drink as much as my family does, and I don't smoke. I don't value those. I don't see value in it. If it doesn't bring me education, I'm not doing it. Period. And my grandmother taught me that. And she was 75 when all lessons were learned about it, because that's when her life ended. And yes, she was an alcoholic too. So she taught me, you're better than alcohol, which is true. She saw value in herself, but it was hard for her because she had a lot to deal with. And she told me a lot of it before she died. So I was pretty happy about that. I just wish it would have been sooner rather than later that I knew about her life, because there was so much to value in it that was not known to me, and it made it harder to know what to value. So there are certain things that we both did that we just valued, even if others didn't appreciate that kind of value, like card games, doing them the right way, not using them to gamble your life away and shit like that. I'm not like that. She's not like that. We try to do things for the right purposes, not the wrong. There goes my voice. But that's how communication works. Sometimes we lose our voice in the process. Not all of it. Although I wish I would have been born deaf because of the abuse and the unnecessary words people use with me and don't really care and think about using, especially the damages done, which is why some acronyms are harder to work with than others, because they do damage and they're not supposed to. They're supposed to reduce the damage because they're part of crisis survival and thriving and surviving, not just one or the other, both. And that's another hard part people don't get, is some people in the psychology field work so hard and really know what they're talking about, and some really are clueless. Like, a thought is just a thought. No, it's not, because it's built off something, whether it's past, like a forethought, which means before something happens, not after, because the afterthought would be after something happens. So they didn't put that in there, and that's why some people don't make great psychologists, because they don't understand the thoughts are made up of different things. Like, they're not just made up in journal. Something has to create it. And that's why if you read more books about thoughts, you'll understand. Like Dr. Seuss, he wasn't a full doctor. He became one for multiple reasons, just like Clara Barton. She became a member of the American Red Cross because she believed it was a need, not a want, for all type of citizens across the United States. She just didn't believe it was for only one purpose, and that's it. If you read her story more, you'd understand. And yes, there's several books about her. Each book defines it a certain way. That's the nice thing about books. If you get acquainted to more than one, you'll understand that. Because of the way they introduce it, like if they have pictures or illustrate. That's why I don't limitations, because either you're challenging it or you're sticking with the challenge and that's it. You're not doing anything with it. Or you extremely challenge it and say, I'm not letting that be the limit and the only limit. Because there's misguiding, which is very common in today's world. That people will misguide you and misdirect you. Instead of redirecting correctly, they don't know how to do it, so they misdirect you. They lead you in the wrong direction, which a lot of people do with me, and don't care. And not only that, they're not very informed of that word in my life either, because it's not one that was easy for me to talk about because of the hostility and the inability my family didn't care about with me. They chose not to. That's why I'm different than them. Because there's things that I value over what they do. Or choose to. Because I'm not going to value everything they do. Because if that was true, I would not be here. Probably be in a place that I would not like. I would see less value in. Less benefits in. Now, some places might have benefits, but not as many. They might limit the benefits. And that's another problem in today's world, is because so much goes to limiting, and it's not for the right reasons. Sometimes it's for the wrong reasons, and a lot of people can't tell the difference between the two. Just like fact and opinion, some people can't tell the difference between the two because they don't want to gain enough insight and knowledge for that and recognition.